And welcome to day 500 of The Journey Begins. All right, we're going to take a quick break while we do stuff we forgot, but we'll go on first. Okay. And welcome back. Thanks. Good to be back. We are day 500 of The Journey Begins. Oh, we forgot to send out our announcements earlier, so we just did that. We are now going to start getting set up for our tour. I don't think we'll be able to hit everything, but we'll hit everything in the everything we remember in the overworld. We'll hit Haven's End, and we might do the end as well. But first, which way do we want to go? This is the. We forgot to. Welcome in, Forever Assassin. How's it going? We forgot to set our start point, where we wanted our video to start. So we're also going to take the VOD for this and try to edit it a little bit. And capture the world download. So maybe instead of monthly updates, we'll do like every 6 months updates and maybe every 100 episode updates. Well, not every. Wouldn't do every 100. That'd be just a little over 3 months. I guess that wouldn't be bad necessarily. If you do update 1, update 2, then a 6 month. No. It'd be a little bit over 3 months. So yeah, so it'd be about an update every 3 months then. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. I think that's a schedule we could maintain, and then enough would be done that it would be noticeable. I mean, while we're able to play every day, we're getting a lot done, but I don't know how long that will last. And just a little bit on weekends, a monthly update won't be as cool. And it looks like Troll Duggan is our streamer in the other ear today on Minecraft over on Twitch. Working on the Citadel. They also have the Citadel Cafe podcast, and they are part of the Spawn Chunks podcast up here. Yeah, I think we're going to. Hopefully, we didn't destroy any crops there. It doesn't look like it. Because we're gonna need a lot of. Well, yeah. We're gonna try to walk through as much of the world as we can, so it's gonna take a little bit longer, but kind of give a feel of what it would be like to come through the world. With some exceptions of, did I knock that out? of where we need to, like, what the wall will need to fly and whatnot. So, oh, hello. How's it going? How's the Thursday? Working on any Minecraft projects yourself? Cool. We are prepping for a world tour that we're going to start here in just a few minutes. At least the big parts. We're not going to go visit trial chambers or anything like that that we might have visited. It's going to be things that we've built and that we remember. Well, thank you for the like, Jenny. Appreciate it. Where do we want to go? Oh, over here. I think we need paper. And then we can make more rockets. Okay. Drop that off here. No, this one is rocket materials. Drop off a couple there. Need a lot of the gunpowder for our TNT as well. We need more TNT in there. So are things set up for TNT? It is. Okay, good. So this is one of the things. It's not a permanent fixture, but every time we come in, we do that a few times. Generate a few TNT. We do that enough, and then by the time we're ready, we'll have the TNT we need to clear out Haven's End, which we'll see here in a second. So we're gonna start now. We're gonna go to the end, and we're gonna start. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Yeah, a good day to join. We're doing a world tour for our 500 day. Hopefully we don't crash right here with being a little... Any brand of car? We'll go with a Pontiac. I guess it's my model. So brand, what is it brand now? Ford or GM? Only a few car companies actually, and then they own many sub-brands. Anyway, back to the task at hand. So this is, you know, the Great North here. So nothing is being built north of the wall other than this part here. Good question, Jenny. So this is Dawn Bridge. So the only thing that's going to be built north. So the entranceway to kind of explore it. So it's just a framing now. So we'll probably rough it up a touch. But the idea is we want to make the floor a little bit more interesting. The walls we want to keep relatively flat and kind of work in something like these torches, but in a way that conveys every torch represents, you know, an explorer that, you know, crossed the bridge and went into the north and is still somewhere exploring the north, kind of a long lost explorer kind of thing. So that's the goal with this. It won't stay quite like this. This was just while we were digging this down so we could have this here. But as we were digging it, I kind of like that idea of taking these torches down, but putting candles or other things up to kind of represent those kind of explorers that have gone off to the north. And so we would take this. Oh, that's a nice happy accident there. So probably leave a gap like this so you can see one of the entrance towers on either side. You get a peek of that. Guess we have some wildlife on. Oh yeah, we had a camel visit us, so we'll need to move that to a stall somewhere. But then you come here and you'll see the Adventurer's Gate, which needs to be needs to be finished decorating, but it'd be a vaulted entranceway that will cut through and kind of control the view of what you see coming into Overmorrow. So all of this up to, I think, a height of 150 is going to be solid walls. So this die right here isn't just floating, it's just the frame that we're using to kind of gauge how tall and how thick we want this wall to be. But this will be our only evergreen project. So the wall will run perpetually to the horizon in either side. So it's not going to be a project that we actively work on, just kind of here and there, because it's, you know, what, 10, 20 million blocks in either direction. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it would be a significant project because it takes some of the people that speed run to the side take what, like a week or 2 weeks going on another roof to get to the end of the world. So not something we're gonna try to complete in any one go. So that's the goal there. The towers actually have meaning as well. So this tower was built like day one Minecraft 5 or so years ago, before we were really taking anything serious. We're just going to try to build a base here and then move out, and then we ended up finding something closer to the Garden Temple, setting our base there, and just kind of didn't come back for a long time. But then we ran into a couple of glitches in Minecraft where even though we had a bed set, it took us back to spawn. So it was a trek to get spawn back here and then making it back to the Garden Temple in one piece. So we decided to build a base here to have some resources, or a town. And then that kind of led to adding more to the story and creating a story. This tower is the height of 256, so the original build height of Minecraft. And this tower is up to 320, so it's the new height of Minecraft build height. And everything, or most everything that we'll see today, is still in the framing stages, so nothing is going to look quite as bland as it is. It's more just getting the shape of it and placement. So there's nothing actually inside this tower, it's just lava then covered in water to create the cobblestone so that we know kind of where we want it. But we'll turn the towers and the wall into storage and farms. So you can kind of see some of that here. We have a bamboo farm here. We have some netherwort up there we're working on. We saw earlier we've got the sugar cane and potatoes. So we'll have decorative farms more out in the world, and then some of the ones that are more functional and just ticking along as we need them will be like inside the wall and inside those towers, so that they're producing extra when we need it. And yeah, that will do that. So we'll go sleep, and then we'll continue our tour of Overmorrow. And then we might go up top the wall and then come down so we can get a bird's eye view of what we're going to look at, and then go look at each of the items. Oh, okay. That'd actually work. We're going to fly up there, but we can actually just take our scaffolding here. So we'll watch this tick up a little bit and watch Overmorrow shrink below us. Oops. There we go. So this should go up to probably a little bit higher than 150, I think. And you can see how Yeah, the Dawn Bridge fades into the render distance, so I think one of the updates probably cut down our render distance because we used to be able to see that far. But yep, so that's that. Our towers on the other side. Oh yeah, I think 0 is down here. This would be a good spot. Okay. So this diorite line here is not going to stay, but it's a center marker for Overmorrow. To the east is the waterway is covered in, relined with white blocks. And to the west, we're doing white blocks, so we can integrate some of the color into the direction. Right now we have the water kind of coming up to the surface. You can see on the white side here, kind of before this little bridge. Debating whether I want to do that or maybe lower it 1 or 2 levels, or leave it high here and then 1 or 2 levels down so that it's feels more like a river and less like a decorative stream, but we're still thinking on that. But now we'll call it a few places and then we'll go visit them. So this building over here to our left is our iron farm. So we had one over by the Garden Temple, but I don't know if it was an update or something happened and it stopped working. So we ended up building it here at spawn. Thought it would be useful to have something here that we can come back to. What else do we have? Not a whole lot over here. So I'd probably maybe we'll build a warehouse or something over here. We need to still frame that out. Down here we have, what's that one? This is our string farm. So there's some spider spawners, or cave spider spawners actually down there, and we can take those out. There's a manual one and then one where the spider is on top of some magma cube blocks. Well, we'll cover that when we get there. Actually, we are framing out some things. So I think this frame back here is going to be our kind of leather shop. In the back there, this was going to be our poultry shop. Over on the side, this is our bamboo farm, so we'll go visit that as well. This line here is going to be our dripstone generator. This big creation here is our creeper farm for our TNT. Kind of a trial run of that, so we're actually going to build a couple of these, at least 2, along the wall here. But probably at the end, we'll kind of cap the bridge with 2 of those. So we'll have multiple creeper farms for TNT. To help our story, we're not going to have like any single massive farm somewhere. We'll have maybe bigger farms to help us with the building, but well, there'll be smaller ones around too, just to generate extra. Things like this well here are not our creation. Thank you, Jenny. Glad you like it so far. Things that were naturally generated, we're trying to keep those in some places. So the well here, the fossils there, the kind of floating land here, things that were part of the terrain generation and perhaps a little glitchy, we're trying to kind of preserve some of that in the world. So when those happen, we're trying to build things around that so we can keep it there and give it a story in the world. We'll have a few community gardens like this here. We'll probably build a lava shop here, so we'll build some kind of shop here that sells, magic fire material or something like that. AKA lava. We have our little park here. And then this kind of blue circles there are going to be our cleric farm. And it's cut off in the fog. But there is an ice mountain here, similar in size to the sand dune where we have a small ice farm. So we're going to start on the east and we'll work our way west, and yeah. We'll visit each of these and try to make it as complete a world tour as we can. Yeah, so we're inside the wall now, so it's roughly 10 blocks thick. I mean to make that a little thick. Oh, sorry, I missed the comment earlier too. Yeah, trying to keep it organized, or I'm trying to build organized, and then each city has its kind of own characters. So Overmorrow here is mostly organized. Inkwood's going to be a little bit more chaotic, and Haven's End is on a grid. So this was our very first build, I guess, in Minecraft. So this was our starter base for night 1. We added like the deep slate and stuff later, but basically, and the door there, but the grass and the stone that would have been around like 116 or so, whatever that was, so around when the aquatic update was. That's what this area was. So we built this for our first night. We started digging down. We built, took lava, just scaffolded up, jumped up, dropped the lava and did that. So that was going to be both our light source and a tunnel, which we might still put light on like the front side or something, just to give it something to look at, or we might put a beacons or something there, but that little food supply. The wall actually obviously came later. And it only goes maybe 300 past spawn or so for now. Like, this is enough to kind of show the idea. And then as we get things finished and have extra diorite or white blocks that we want to work on, we can do that. But this is our iron farm, so we have our viewport there, a smaller viewport here, and then the iron ends up in here. And that is our iron farm. Yeah. Yeah, some of the cats get caught, which is why we only have the one iron farm, and we need to find ways to refine it a little bit. But there are, cat sanctuaries around. Move them. Used to be one in the Garden Temple, but we might have moved. What was next? Oh, okay. We'll go over here. Oh, that was nothing there. So this our string temple or string farm. So we'll grab a piece of stack of strings just to show this off real quick, and then we'll go down and do the mechanics. So if that works, that one there, that little device there detects whenever a hopper is full, and then pushes the observer then, which creates a dispenser, which shoots it up. The water helps collect it and push it back a little bit, so it ends up in this hopper, which ends up in this chest. So we get a little bit more dynamic movement with the farm. So it's not just dispatching the spiders and collecting the string. And this water here actually goes all the way down to the farm, so it will actually comes out of the farm, will actually shoot up here, come back down, and then go through, and then shoot up again. Has a little more movement to it. This is our access panel, so we put a conduit in here so we can get down without drowning. The entranceway still needs to be cleaned up a little bit, so it's not the most elegant way down, but it works. So, get our bearings, okay. Up here in this room is some of our armadillos. So we have our little armadillo farm here. Whenever we need a couple, we raise them, bring them up in this tunnel here, so they don't wander around the spider chamber. They just kind of hang out at the edge as far as they can go with the leash that they're on. So you see they're out there on a leash, and they're in a spot where the spiders can see them, but they can't actually get far into the chamber, so it keeps them. But this is the manual one, by the way, so when the spiders come through, they'll drop in here. The reason we have the trapdoors on there is cave spiders are actually slightly shorter than regular spiders. So regular spiders, we wouldn't need the trapdoors, but the cave spiders are a little shorter, so we need the extra depth there so that they can't crawl through. But when that happens, they would go in there, and then this is a manual process where I don't know if there's anything in there. Yeah, so we click that, goes through, and now that block of iron is going to work its way up to the surface. And this is an abandoned mine shaft, which we won't explore too much because we haven't really built anything in here other than the cave spider spawners here. Well, other than the spider farms here. This cobblestone block here is actually part of our other spawner, or yeah, it is our other spawner, which is our other collector. Come around the back here. Take a look at the bottom. So down here, yeah, we're gonna need to up the number of our powered rails here because we have a few that are stuck. We're not gonna fix that today, but get the idea there. So these hopper minecarts run under the magma blocks there, so that when the spiders get dispatched, their drops get collected. And we can get in to do maintenance by ducking so we don't take damage as well, but we can see they get dispatched, and then hopper minecarts will collect them. And that's really the only purpose of down here, right here. Yeah. Oh, we could have gone up this way, I guess. Now back up to the surface. Oh yeah, we have some skeleton spawners here, so we could do more with this and maybe get some bone meal or something in here too. But maybe we'll go visit our temporary XP farm as well. But so the same way the materials go out is the same way we get back to the surface, at least for now, the easy way. We'll get jetted up and we'll just jump out. I'll eventually find a spot and jump out. There we go. It's still dark, so maybe we'll take a nap here in a second, because I think we can go over to our experience farm over here. So when we talk about mending our tool, that he missed it. Most of the time now we're coming here. We do have some experience farms, or an experience farm in the nether. We're working on another one, kind of way in the background. So this is above us is a zombie spawner. So this fills with zombies. We let it fill up, take them out, and go. Oh, guess we didn't have to We did not have to go that way, actually. Why? Because... Let me top up my carrot. So this path actually goes to the string farm, which then goes to the bamboo farm. So there will be an underground network connecting the builds. For now, we only have it connecting here. Oh, I'll explain this too. At some point, we're going to make it so that we'll put an item splitter in here somewhere. So we'll take the zombie meat, put it through here. We'll run it through a series of hoppers and dispensers and whatnot. And then we'll have to like raise it up and do it again. But ultimately, we'll be able to like watch the process as it sends the items down the hall here. And again, you can see like the vaulted area, so that's going to come all the way over, and then we'll add texture and gradient to that and make it look more intentional. So we've been kind of haphazardly building things for the story, and now we're trying to kind of connect them together. Once we get all the framing done, then we can do more community engagement of what to kind of bounce around to when we don't have a current project we're working on. Alright, so that tunnel leads us over here, which is... we have one cleric here, which we might trade with if he's in the mood. Which it looks like he is, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 16. Let's see if that's enough. We have a bank of Fletchers in the Nether, which I guess we can visit too. Oh. Which gives us both experience and emeralds. And this is just a placeholder, so we have one to work with, but we'll add more here. So it's going to be a 3-tier. These aren't the heights, but they're representing how wide each of the layers will be. So the bottom layer is this circle, and whatever height that ends at, then this is the height of the next circle that will go up. That will go up however many blocks, 5, 7, whatever. And then this will be the height of the next one, and then cap it there. Now we'll go up here. So our wall, we're kind of trying to cap it at the 150, but then when something like this happens, we're having it come up and over mountains, and then it will go back down to 150. So that way we can there we go. We can keep a consistent height and not keep adding work if items or if the mountains get in the way. So we have an Arctic fox over here. Looks like it caught a rabbit. These pools here are our ice farm, so we'll collect ice here. We need to probably put buttons or something in there so that we can keep the ice blocks. We forgot to do that earlier, but this is where our ice farm is going to be. And what are we going to do next? So there's not much to see in the park other than what we can get from this aerial view or from the lava farm there. So for the dripstone, we're just going to laying out the plans, but there is a little bit to see here. So not too much in here, but we have our chickens and our lava source, so we can have lava chickens. But not quite as fancy as in the Minecraft movie, but it works good enough. We have another camel back here. I think we'll do our bamboo farm here, and then we'll do the creeper farm, and I think that's everything that we mentioned here that we have going so far. So let's all right. So this is going to have a floor here, and we'll build some kind of shop and give it some kind of fun name for the scaffolding and whatnot. So our bamboo, so something that has kind of a cozy fantasy kind of name to it. And probably not the most efficient farm, but it works for us and gives us more than what we need. So yeah, so you can see here, oh, there it went. We saw it took off there. The observers are at the end, so they're all watching one stock. When that stock goes, then they power the others, so everything gets kicked off anytime one of those, so it increases the rate. So we still get a few that might grow taller here, but with the timer having this, what, 3, 4, 5, none of them actually grow to like full height before one of those 5 ticks off. Then they all trigger the rows of pistons here. And if you escape there, we could add a little bit more, but we're not too worried about the excess there. We're not going for efficiency yet. I mean, at some point in the future, maybe we'll do some efficiency farms, but we're not really concerned about that at the moment. We have some more tunneling down here that we could look into and do something with, but for now, this is the only thing that's here. And we can see that's full. Oh, all of the bamboo gets dumped here, and then we can turn that into either bamboo or the planks, and then we have lots of wood material that we can use. So kind of the scratch wood. So when we're not intentionally using oak, spruce, or whatever, we can use the bamboo to frame things out as kind of our excess wood material. So that is our bamboo farm. And probably need to get it somewhere a little clear before I try to jump out of here so I don't crash into the ceiling or a chest. Then we'll give one more sweep here. Oh, we should probably get some carrots or something before we go. But, well, that's everything but the creeper farm, so we're going to stop and hit that here in a second. Do we have any? I don't think we have any carrots ready to go. I don't think we have any bone meal. Nope. Oh, we picked up bamboo. I don't need that right now. Well, nothing in there. Well, we'll just have to go back and maybe see if we have any. We have some in Haven's End, so if we can make it there. Guess we didn't catch anything. There, okay. Well, now we'll go to the creeper farm. Oh, well, before we go in there, we'll actually explain this. So this portal is going to here, move to my cyborg. Need to figure out how to tighten those a little bit more. But this portal goes to 0, 0, so the northeast corner of Haven's End. So Haven's End can be accessed here, but we're going to build some kind of, I don't know, like guard place or maybe the library or like small library, some kind of building here. Probably not the library because we need to go in and out of that. Some kind of building that can have like a false front on it, so it can have a door but the door doesn't go anywhere, and then it will have a little piece of like scaffolding on top or something to come out. So if you have, Elytra or know it's there, you can get in and go to Haven's End. But if you're just spawning into the world, there wouldn't be any way to get on top necessarily. So it would kind of hide that entrance, but it would still be accessible. You can see 67 is kind of our magic number. So the height of the foundation of Overmorrow is 67. And then if we need topography, we'll go from there and build it up as we need it. The reason for that is the first time we spawned into the Nether was at Y67. So kind of preserving that number there. So this little dip here won't be here, and everything under, we'll collect the sand and maybe we'll turn it into storage or something down here. Or add it to kind of the lure of the smuggler tunnels that we have going on. But this drop won't be there. We already saw the TNT maker there. We'll make a TNT factory somewhere. But inside here we have, what is it, four or five? 1, 2, I think 5 of these layers of ice in the dirt here. So the creepers will spawn up there. They'll find their way to the middle, or if they find their way to the edge, then they'll fall through some trapdoors there. They'll make their way through these water paths. All of that will take them into this tunnel here, which is, well, they'll either fall straight in, or there's a rim of pressure plates there attached to these pistons. So if they happen to land on the rim, the pistons will start going off until they get pushed down the single shaft that goes into single shaft on this campfire, which is above this hopper minecart, which pulls things into what we saw earlier. So it pulls it into the barrel, hopper, and ultimately ends up in here. Oh, it looks like we just had a couple land through. And so this is where one of our AFK spots. So we'll use our AFK account in here periodically and let it sit and let it collect. And we have some iron golems in here because as we were kind of touching it up, we had some other mobs that would spawn on the bottom down here. And we needed some protection. Up top, we're using buttons and trapdoors to keep the spawns to creepers, so works pretty well. I should have stayed here for a little bit longer. Occasionally we'll get a skeleton, but it's pretty rare. So if I had to ballpark guess, I'd say around 90% is still creepers. So it's works out. We get a few extra arrows, a few extra bone meal. Not the end of the world. We can put a item splitter on that and then put a TNT maker down there. Or yeah, we can put an item splitter and then further split that so we can preserve some of the TNT or some of the gunpowder for TNT and some of it for rockets for our elytra. And then the campfires I thought were just like nice low-level touches and kind of fitting with the idea of the smoke, or yeah, the smoke of the gunpowder. Oh, smoke of the TNT. All right, let's sleep. Alright, I think, did we get everything? I think we got everything that was in here. We did our ice farm. All of the little things that we had labeled out. Yeah. Oh, and you can kind of see the mountains in the distance here. There were several of those and a handful that were 2, maybe 3 times the size. In this area. So this took us about 3-4 weeks to level. This is, our story is on the 3rd line, so the other thing that we notice, we can see there, actually we can show that maybe. Can we see? Yeah. Pause here for a second. So these stone lines you can see here, stone blocks. go up to the corner here. Our degree line. So from 0, 0, so where the gate is, it's a 10 realm server. Or yeah. And we divide it into actual realms in the world for the purposes of our story. Our current story is taking place in the 3rd realm. And you can figure out what degree you're on by using arctangent of y over x, or in the case of Minecraft, x or z over x. So since it's 180 degrees, you divide it by 18, so every 18 degrees is a new realm. And so if you were to take the wall here and come out 18 degrees, that would be roughly this line here. So it's hard to get it with the Minecraft blocks, but we're kind of estimating it and just assuming as we kind of build these stories that neighbors will be okay. And then you go another 18 degrees, and this is 2. And then the other side of that is realm 3, which is, so the 45 degree angle is in realm 3, which is what this is. So sometimes we call it just our trader road, and sometimes we call it our storyline. Caravans will follow this road to Inkwood, and then even though there's no more caravans after that, the roads and paths still kind of follow that 45 degree angle. Actually, we were going to kind of walk this, but since this isn't a real road yet, we'll stop there. But we will come down and walk this part. So we had some skeleton horses that we had to deal with and that while we're building this. So this structure here that we're framing out is going to be a cave entrance that is big enough that the trade caravan that would come along would take that and come here. And this is going to need to be, brought out and shallowed so it's not so steep. Hello, Traffic Cone. Welcome in. Welcome back. We are working on our world tour. And then, so this would be a much shallower path down here. And we will post this on, well, this video will be on the VOD channel, and then we're going to take this and do some editing to it, and we'll probably make a couple clips to post around, and then a cut down version that we'll redo audio on and post on the gaming channel as well. I don't know how soon I'll get any of that up, but that is the plan. So this is the tunnel that the caravan would come down. Again, we'll probably, I don't know if we'll make this deeper or just wider. Probably go deeper and wider, because above us is the ocean and we don't want to keep having to plug up the ceiling when it's leaking water. So our caravan would follow this path. And every time, well, not every time, as often as we can, we try to come through this tunnel and just do a little mining as we go, so that when we actually do get to decorating and whatnot, we have a better shape to work with. And it's not so jarring to get through, but the functionality is there. We can take the tunnel. It is lit up, so it is a safe path. And it will get us to the other side of the ocean, which we should be coming out on any second now. And then we'll take a dirt path there into Inkwood. I would probably do some flying around for a few minutes of the Garden Temple, looking at our ocean monument there and some of the stuff we have going on there. We'll do some of the mines because we already have some clips and stuff on the mines of how far we've gone back, so we probably won't show all of that in this world tour, just the first handful. Unless anyone is really interested in seeing that. But so this is the end of the tunnel here, so we're going to have to kind of have this wind up nice and smooth instead of jumping, something that a caravan might use, but This is, what is this? This is the X that we need to stop at. All right. I think our Elytra had an issue there. And then this is the corresponding cave exit, I guess. Well, entrance or exit. So, you know, draining the water here. Ooh, probably grab some. Welcome back. No, you still with us, Jenny? Or Janine? Sorry. Yeah, so this would come out here. We'll have the cave entrance go out this way. So maybe connect to this land here, something like that. And then caravan will come out here. And then up here somewhere is a road. Yeah, so this is a road. The scaffolding with torches here are kind of our poor version of beacons, so that when we're flying around and walking around, we have something above the tree line that we can see. And then particularly at night, we have guides so that as we're walking through this, we can kind of see where we're going. And like in the cities, like Overmar, we bring things up to 67, but not everywhere. So like here we're 68, 67. So when we can get it to that height easily, we can. But oh, no worries, no worries. Just checking in. What kind of drawing are you working on, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, and then yeah, so our dirt path here. Would probably cave up a little bit, or grade up a little bit, right? So that come in here. We're gonna come through our mountain here. There's a lot we need to like light up in here, but we're just not worrying about that for now. The main path is lit up and blocked off, so it's mostly a safe path. You know, baby zombies could still get through in that, so it's not a place to sit and forget. But it is mostly safe. And yes, again, this is still part of the caravan route, so this all needs to be widened and lit up and decorative. And then we'll put some rails on stuff here because we're going to come through a dripstone cave. So I think this would be nice to have some rails and stuff here and have the kind of caravan walk through and see all of this biome inside of a cave. I think that will be interesting. Oh, nice. I have like a time range right now. I'm trying to kind of dial in the time. So during the week, I try to start my stream sometime between 10 and 11 Pacific time, and then stream for an hour, hour and a half. On Saturdays, it's usually closer to between 2 and 3. And Sundays, I try to stream around 9:30 a.m. all Pacific time. But if anybody has preferences, like feel free to drop your favorite time in the chat with your time zone. And I would be happy to adjust if there's enough people in any one time zone that want to watch. Hello, Graceland. Yeah, we're working on, well, not really working today. We're just doing our world tour. So all of this here is just like the functional line of the path we're going to take. So we're not going to have floating dirt like this. It's going to be more purposeful, having a bridge over this water, look proper. But for now, this lets us see the line we're going to take into Inkwood here. So we can kind of get a feel for how things are going to be revealed as we approach. But yeah, to the earlier question, yeah, I want to do more regular times. but I'm flexible as far as when those are. Ooh. Well, glad you're getting your teeth taken care of, but sorry your tooth hurts. Hopefully the dentist can help. Oh, we should probably light some of this path up. Go. Yep. We should definitely light some of this up as we go. All right. We'll light this up. And we'll get a feel for we'll see you later, Greaseland. All right. So where's a good spot here? I think we're gonna take a carrot. Whoop. We need to heal. And then we'll take a nap, and then we will start exploring Inkwood. All right. So we'll start with our bridge here. And we'll probably continue to say this quite a bit, but this is our functional placeholder bridge. So we'll have something that looks more appropriate for this, but it will extend and connect to the land over here where this cobblestone perimeter is. These steps here are just for getting like up and down for now. Eventually we'll take some of these out. We'll probably leave some and like, you know, carve semicircles in it, like make it look a little more natural. But we are taking between the cobblestone line here and the Inkwood wall. This is going down to bedrock. So that's what we have been working on the past few days, is taking this down on 3 sides. And we'll revisit that again when we go to the top of the clock tower. But we'll show a little bit here of one of our tunnels. So this here goes down to deep slate, and then there's another little tunnel, or another little shaft next to it that goes down to bedrock, and there's a big cavern down there that we're using our spirit account to light up. And we're dropping in some bore shafts with lava in them to also show kind of the perimeter of Inkwood at the bottom. Yeah, see these? So there's a few of these dotted around the outside of Inkwood. This is all the way down to the bedrock layer. So that way when we're down there, we can kind of tell what Inkwood looks like from the bottom. I thought about putting the library something down there, so it'd be kind of out of sight, but it'd be a lot of work to get it really lit up. So we'll probably do, maybe we could work in like a dark library or something, but the actual library is in here. So we'll show off a few things here. So this mountain, or not really mountain, this hill here, we're going to keep some of this. We'll decorate a little archway here or something comes into here. So this is kind of a, you know, a quiet, peaceful spot, and we'll make a more prominent well. But the well here would be something you would fall down, you know, maybe some pistons or something would push, and you would continue to like flow down, and then, you know, hopefully get the idea that you follow this path, and then when you take that path there, it takes you into a controlled tunnel. What we're working on is a controlled tunnel in the nether. So probably like warped fungus floor and like white walls, like making it clear that can't tell that you're in the nether. And you just follow this path and it will take you, it's like 15,000 blocks away, give or take. So it's at like negative 17,000, 20,000 is the library that we're building out in the middle of the ocean. So building the platform for it there. So kind of representing kind of the hidden knowledge of Inkwood. What else do we got? Oh, this little path here will take us around to see some stuff. So this building here is going to be the little trade depot. So nothing too big, not like what we'll have at Inkwood. So it'll be kind of a, what is that? Diametrically opposed? Oh, opposed. So the Inkwood will have a large library and small trade depot, whereas Overmar will have a much larger trade depot, but the library there is basically just our main character's house. And so here we have a little pond that we were working on either side and put some benches or something here. Trying to keep some of the tranquility going. Welcome to Anime World. Good to have you back. We'll go over here. And then, yeah, so this is, where does this go? Oh yeah, so there's some water, cave water down here that we can maybe do something with later. This is just kind of a drain for now. And we'll do all this later, but the trade depot here is actually part of our story, so that's why it's framed up. So we're building out the villages, towns, cities in kind of a, we're framing the buildings that are in the story and then doing a couple passes to add texture to those buildings. And then once enough of those buildings are done for the story, then we can come back and add more ancillary buildings and supporting buildings to the villages, towns, cities kind of thing. So here we have a couple of our residents to help build out the population of Inkwood. Off in the distance here, there's a couple towns, so you can kind of see a mountain cresting over there. So I think there's a little mountain village over there, and then there's one, I think, a little bit to the, what would that be, the east side? No, north side. Over here, there's another little village there, which is where this, is it? Oh yeah, this little path over here. We're bringing some villagers in. Life is pretty good so far. Doing our world tour today. Starting on chapter 16 outline today for our story. And trying to get a few other little projects done as well. Where's that path? Taking the path would be the easiest way to get back so I don't get lost. Not that Inkwood is really that big. But how's your Thursday going, Anime World? Oh, and then this, so that kind of dirt road that we were taking in here, we want it to be a little bit less simple. So these were kind of some ideas we were taking for, or an idea we were taking for the path of having like the dirt path, but then having like the andesite gravel and then cobblestone. So kind of representing how wide you think a wagon should be. This would make a wagon 5 blocks wide. So the path would need to be like 10 blocks wide. Or maybe putting, like figuring out the spacing, or maybe putting these a little bit closer together. Like taking out these 2 blocks and just having one in between them, maybe. And then that takes out 2, so that would make it more like 7 blocks wide. Yes, we have a couple nether portals. So, take a pause and show this one real quick again. So that portal down there actually is going to go through our control tunnel through the nether to our library. And this is going to be like a decorative well with water in the top, so you'd fall through that, and suspension of disbelief, you'd end up in the library on the other side. And we will go through another portal here in a few minutes. We'll be wrapping up Inkwood here in a second, and then we're going to go to the Garden Temple and then to Barter's Bay, and from Barter's Bay we'll take another portal into Haven's End. I'm thinking we probably won't do the end. I mean, we do have a little bit of an ender farm there and a shulker farm like way out in the distance, but there's some posts on that already. We have one of the rings for our Dyson ring there, at least you know what we're thinking about staying with for now, but we might turn that into something more later. But yeah, so now here's our kind of a bird's eye view of the path coming in, the road that we'll come across, connect to this bridge here, and then we'll have houses and stores and shops here. So probably more of like a goods and staging area on, I think this is the south side, because I think this is east. Yeah, so that's south and that's west. So this is the southwest direction that we're going to go in, which is right. Yes. And so some buildings there, we'll do that. And then if you can see below us, these 4 quadrants down there are going to be the base of this tower that we're on, which is going to be our clock tower. Our slit in it is facing the wrong way. We need to change that to the opposite way. But the way that's going to work is we'll be able to watch the sun rise between that from a viewpoint inside. And there'll be colored glass along some walls. And we'll use corresponding colored blocks to put on the floor so that it can look like the color is coming in and moving across the floor. So telling time through a color. All right, so I have a few carrots left, so we probably should see what do we have over here as far as food goes. Yeah. So when we were talking about in Overmorrow having little farms, some of them can be as small as this, just these little 6, 7, these little 8-block carrot farms and whatnot. So if you're working in an area, you have a little backup supply of food growing around, and you put a few of these around, you know, city, village, whatever we're working on. And it may not be a big farm where you can just, you know, grab stuff from a chest, but there's enough food to last. And you could, yeah, kind of see the work that we were doing on either side. So the three of the sides will be this ravine that goes down to bedrock. The back will be the lakes. So we'll probably take out a few of the islands, but we're not going to do too much with the depth. Just take them below water level so that it's clear that this lake is feeding these little waterfalls on either side that are filling the ravine with water. Uh-oh. What is there? Okay, so we're going to try. Oh, we're going to take the path, I guess. We don't want to fly the whole way. We want to see what it's like taking the path. In the trees, I guess. We're cut through here. No. Again, all of this is going to be whitened. We're gonna have to be careful with our rest of our stream though, because we just had our monitor go black, which happened the other day as well, 5 or 6 times during the stream towards the end. I'm wondering if the video card might be out. But anyway, yeah, we take this path. Some things like that will figure out how to build into the world. This floating dirt up there, because that wasn't us. I mean, I didn't go back and watch all the VODs, but I don't know why I would have left the middle like that. I think that's one of those like glitches of this generating, so we're gonna leave that there. Oh, and we have our desert's going to come up soon. I think we have our coordinates down somewhere. So somewhere over here, we're going to have to create our 4th wall build. So it'd be a cube of sandstone or something with a sign on it that says sandstorm. Because what we would really want is something like the way snow falls, but we don't have that in deserts. I think would actually be a nice way to get renewable sand somehow. Maybe it has to land on certain blocks or something to actually collect. I don't know, but however it happens, I think that would be a touch. But anyway, since we don't have that, we'll just build a cube and that, and then when you go into the cube, go through another portal. It'll be a controlled tunnel through the Nether. And that will take us to the Gold Temple. Oh, the Gold Temple. Yeah, so we probably need to visit that before we go to the Nether. But hopefully we can make it there without any incidents. Yeah, and our elytra looks like it's still in pretty good shape. So this is the backside. So somewhere in here is where we'll build that fake sandstorm build. And now we can kind of see, oh, we have a village that was coming in over here. We call it a degraded village, a haunted village, something like that. Oh, lots of our shulker farm of sand. Yes. We haven't loaded it up yet, have we? Yeah, so we just started loading this one up way back. So more sand there. A corrupted village. Somewhere over here there's a tunnel. Okay, we'll go through here. This isn't really part of the road. I just thought this would be a nice touch to come through here. Alright, so we'll come out here. And so yeah, if we do that, it will give a nice view. Instead of coming up into the corner, you come out and it kind of opens up. Although we'll need to have it to be more impressive for anyone who would have higher end graphics cards to do it, because you can kind of see it's coming into view now. It's actually so large that the render distance is having trouble with it. So we had the inner temple or inner pyramid there. That was the original Minecraft build height, and then we have the step pyramid that is encasing it. And so our story there was, you know, the world changed and the kind of a purple portal around the base of the garden temple here, like it's pushing through this other portal. Oh, no worries. Thank you for joining, Jenny. Happy you're able to join for a while. Have fun with the drawing. Or Janine. Sorry. I'll get that right. And then we have a village here that's going to end up being inside of it, so we'll work that in somehow. Since we don't have too much pathwise here, I will like fly around a little bit to show some of this. Maybe we'll just fly around the perimeter. Okay. Oh, so I was right. Okay. Thank you, Jane. See you next time. Yeah, we'll just fly around the perimeter. That's Barter's Bay off to the left, but we'll come back to that later. And yeah, so you can see how large this is. I guess we'll cut through in the middle because there's not much to see now, but you get a feel for how wide that is. On the inside, we have these lanes here so that we can use a squeegee, basically. So a flying machine to drain the oceans. This bit that we have here, we did the same thing on, but we also cut them. Yeah, you can see the flying machine there. Actually, maybe we'll stop here and take a look at that. Yeah, so we would have, this would be the wall, we'd be a little flying machine there, and it would go along, and oh, there it is. And drain that. But what we've drained so far, we would do these tunnels, and then we would do cross connection. And create these like 10 by 10 cells or so, or 9 by 9 cells, and that would be what we have there. That's where most of this was done, and then we have our smelter system there. This block here is kind of the heart of the pyramids. That's where part of the temple. So that's where this, the center is this encased in glass lava stream that goes down through the middle of that. So we're going to need to sleep. And there's a bed here. And a few things to see over here, I guess. So maybe we can pause up here. Okay, so what we're on top of is one of our mob spawners. There's one here and one over there, so we can go in to get a little bit of experience, and that's what we used to do at the very beginning. This building here is one of our trader halls. This portal here will, you know, put in some kind of room. It goes to Haven's End, and it isn't too far away from Barter's Bay entrance, but that is what that is for. We have a few little farms here, so we spent a lot of time here working on this spot, trying to get enough sand and sandstone and draining the ocean before we kind of moved on to Haven's End. And we'll come back to this. We just needed some break from that, but now we have enough projects that we can kind of bounce around between. But with that, we have some projects over here that we can show. Yeah. This road we'll take out, but that was originally like our safe road to get from our ocean monument to over here. So this was going to be like a tower town or something like that, but this is just going to be part of the pyramid now. You can see our different trees are in here. So this is our forestry spot. And the temple will come down under this. So this will kind of overlook there. So we can kind of work that into the story too. You know, the temple was kind of pushing underneath all this other stuff. So as long as the build height doesn't change again, if that happens, we'll just have to build a tower somewhere else. But yeah, this is our forestry area. We can gather all the trees that we need and all the things we can grow here. This is our small stone generator. We have a bigger one over in Barters Bay we'll hit in a second. That's our apothecary, our dripstone generator. This brick building, you know, which we'll probably take down at some point, or you know, maybe we'll leave it here. It's just like a little trade town or something. Not even a town, something really small over here. A little factory district. Maybe we work that in the story, like since this is the creeper farm, like this is on the other side of the water from Barters Bay, because maybe there was an accident in Barters Bay, something like that. We have our honey farm here, which we need to use more of, but we have a lot of bees and honey in there. This was our original, or one of our iron farms. So we had one here, we had one you saw inside of the temple there. So when this stopped working, this is when we built the Overmara one. And there's a creeper farm inside of here too. We saw the creeper head in there, but we'll probably keep that one as well. Since it is more decorative, but there's that. This is another one of our small trader halls. So we're trying to do multiple of these like throughout the world. We'll maybe have more of a central one somewhere, but I think that's good for now. Having a few makes it feel more lived in. Where's the way down over here? Yeah, we'll do our ocean monument. We'll do our Barters Bay. Yeah, so go up here. So not the most efficient, but you can see our guardians and whatnot are coming through. We were trying to do one up here for an experience, but the thorn aspect was just not worth it. And then this also needs a lot revamp so that it's not one big tunnel, but yeah, because you can see lots of the carts stopped. So we need to cut these down into a bunch of like individual ones. So instead of having a wall at the end, it's just like two together or even just one together. And I mean, two wouldn't be bad, I guess. But making it so and putting more of the gold in there, or more of the powered rails. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to fix all of those, but that's what needs to go through. So whenever we need more prismarine and stuff, that's what we'll be using. So we'll just need to oh, was this off? No. That should have been going. Doesn't look like it's on though. Huh. Did they change something with the The levers? No, that works there. Let's we can do this real quick. Curious about that. Oh, maybe you can't do it on a light block? That is a weird thing because it was working. Well, anyway, that is our... Actually, we can come down here. So, this is our ocean monument that we've drained. Probably do more below this too, but in here we have our prismarine crystals. And we have our marine shards. And we have lots of fish. Fish. Not necessarily the most efficient food, but it does work. And that is our ocean monument. That was our collection system, and then we have, you know, we wanted something that we could look at, so probably cross-hatching it would have been good. But I think that's not bad. We could make it really efficient and, you know, follow the... find the center of the temple and figure out the locations of where they're all going to spawn, because they're predetermined locations on Bedrock. But we just haven't got to that point because we don't need to be quite that efficient. I mean, it would help if we're doing bigger projects at the moment, but we could also just AFK for a while. So this tunnel and the other one in the temple both go to the same spot in Haven's End. But when you come through the Haven's End portal, you come through here. And as we mentioned, closer to the top of the stream, we're not going to do all of these because this goes down for several hundred blocks. But you'll have these tunnels here. They're about roughly 10 by 10 by 100. So 10,000 blocks. Oh, yeah. Not all are stone, but you can see we'll go down to one that has minerals in it. So this was because, here it is, because we're building, Haven's End is a city in the Nether. That's going to be built on a 1,000 by 1,000 slabs, so 1,000,000 slabs. So we need 500,000 stone blocks. So we need a lot of these stones. So that's what these are. And this goes down a good way. There's probably 20 something of these tunnels, but even that hasn't hit the edge of the temple yet. Every so often we dig a little shaft up to see where we are, because all of this stone that is under the temple is going to be removed at some point. So that'll be, won't be necessarily an evergreen project, but it will take quite a while. And then through that we get, you know, a lot of diamonds, a lot of iron, coal, tons and tons of redstone, lots of gold, more redstone, more coal, and whatnot. Is it dark? It must be night. So we're going to have to find a bed before we head over to Barter's Bay. I did want to see the gold farm, but maybe we'll hold off the gold farm for the next... think there's a bed over here. Oh, and if you see up there, this was our attempt at a cloud like observation area so that we could look down on this. So we do want to include some of those periodically so that we can that when we have these bigger builds, there's a spot that you can get to and kind of look down on things. Yeah, I think we're going to have to cut out the gold temple. Wait, why did we... Where did that come from? Why is that tree floating? I don't know. We'll drop off these trees and then we'll go over to Butter's Bay. Then we'll go to Haven's End. Because Haven's End we're not going to do a whole lot with. We're just going to walk around the perimeter just to give a scale, a sense of the scale. And then I think the gold temple, there really isn't much there other than portals generating and that. So there's a portal into the Nether, but into Haven's End, but I don't think we'll worry about that just yet because we haven't gone through that in a while. So we'll come back to that later. All right, so we'll start over here. In here, you can see we've got these layers of bamboo, whatnot here. These all continue to go down. Continue. Right, so that follows that. And that all leads to cacti here and whatnot. Oh, and we have some storage area here. Okay. Go down a little farther maybe. Yeah, so all of that water gets carried into here, goes through those composters and gives us a bone meal that we can use. Then we can see, get a little view of our hillside over there. I think we're going to do some kind of ship here. I don't know if I want to go all pirate ship here, but some kind of like smugglers shipping area or something there. We got our water here. Okay. Come out in here. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to go around. Oh, okay. So we've probably have to fill some of this in with dirt and decorate it up a little bit and whatnot, but there's enough space in here. We can do a little smugglers trading area over here. Right, I think that's pretty good. And now we'll come to, yeah, we'll start over the front here. So this village was part of the generation process, which is why it's still here. It's just like one layer thick of dirt and they spawned up here. So we've been adding a little depth and then putting the cobblestone perimeter so it can feel more like a port. And the villagers here will be like the dock workers, port workers or whatnot. And then I think this is a nice touch that if we had our render distance up more, we could actually see the garden temple from here, which adds to our story that you could go around it, but it's so massive, it's easier to go through. But, you know, there's danger to that. So if you can't get on a trade ship, then that's what you have to do. This building here is going to be like our inn, or tavern, something like that. Yeah, so this would be like our tavern, and then this would be like a little inn or something here, some kind of more prominent, I don't know, tool shed, something there. These buildings up here, or these colored archways, are going to be part of our trade in the town. So you'll find different gear and shops up there. It's not quite as, I like a more wide path, but I think we're just going to have to deal with it being narrow, and just put the shops, some of the simpler shops there. And then if it needs to be a bigger shop, we can put it on the hill, which we'll get to that in a second. The copper here is just to age it, so it's not actually going to be a copper floor. We have an outline for a ship unloading its goods here. This is the floor. We have a bunch of, well, floor of our warehouse. This is going to be our warehouse at Barter's Bay. So one of the kind of the major locations that if we have goods and we don't know where to put it, we can drop it off here. So when we need it for other builds, we know to come to Barter's Bay, that kind of thing. And that's what this is. These redstones here are item sorters. We only really have the one set up, but this is what this will be eventually. We'll have some, series of, barrels, whatnot, that connect to chest here. If it's something that's a little more quantity intensive, we'll probably have like separate warehouses for that kind of thing, like stone and something like that. Enough for small projects here, but large projects would go bulk warehouse. And you see the redstone lanterns here. So there is comparators and whatnot that will go out the back from underneath. So whenever this is full, this will light up. So we know whenever we need more of something, we'll have an indicator there. And then we can put some picture frames with the item or whatever up front here. That's that. We'll do a little peek over here. So some of the bulk warehousing we can do down here. So we're draining the water here, and there's a abandoned mine shaft way down. So we'll probably go down at least to that level. But once this is all drained, this is a lot more storage area here. So this can be kind of a de facto place to go. Yeah. Let's go on the. So yeah, and it's tried to give it a little more character, giving this kind of split roof and some sunlight to come in. Barter's Bay is going to be a decent sized town, so you can see the stone framing there is for a smelter system over there, so we can smelt the food and iron ore, copper, all that kind of stuff. Kind of like a blacksmith, but I don't know that it will. Well, more of a foundry than a blacksmith, I guess. We won't make as much there. Oh. What is this? I don't remember this there. We dig through this? Oh, okay. So we must have dug a little bit over here. Okay, anyway. Let's go up top here. Start off with this building. This building is part of the upper stone generator. So we have water coming in here. And then we'll have we have lava up there that will come down, and so stone will get shifted through this tunnel over these hoppers, so we could sit here and collect it. And yeah, so it gets shifted here, shifted down, and we can collect all of this stone that it generates just block by block. So it's one of those, we got a little extra time. We want to do a little more engaging with the chat. We can collect stone this way. And this would be kind of, I guess, the ground floor there. But then we have this other piece here. So this is that it's like 10 by 10 by 11, something like that. So each of these walls are, I think, 10. Well, we could count them, but I think it's about 10 by 10 tall and then about like 11 wide. So a shaft or a sheet of it gets created. And once the sheet fills up, then it gets pushed horizontally until it meets in the middle. And there's a sensor over here that detects that and will shut it off. And then, you know, we can collect it. So it's, we'll just say 10 by 10 by 10. So that's 1,000 blocks of stone that we can get here, which is good, but it takes, you know, 10 minutes or so to fully fill up, which is why we have the tunnels under the garden temple that we've been using. Get out here. Oh, we could just fly, I guess. I need to... Oh, here we go. We'll go through this another portal in a second. I'm gonna skip the gold farm today. Because we're at hour 40, so it's gonna probably take about 2 hours to do everything. So this is gonna be the mayor's house kind of thing. I don't know if we'll actually have a mayor, but something like that here. Oh, and that was the Stoneworkers Guild. So there'd be a lot of guilds and things of that nature here. This structure here is going to be the Farmers Guild. So there's actually wheat in there, and we have a farmer in there that drops all of that out this back corner here. And then we can pick it up here. So if we need more wheat and seeds, we can get all that from there. We have our sugarcane farm there. Looks like we've got a couple guardians walking around. This taller structure here is going to be our Adventurers Guild. So looking at using this kind of yellow, light yellow, blue, and a little bit dark accent on it. So we mentioned Adventurers Gate and Dawnbridge over at Overmorrow. So they would have a small presence, I guess, at Overmorrow, and then this would be one of their bigger guilds. Because we wanted Overmorrow to be big, but we didn't necessarily want it to be like the 1,000 by 1,000 kind of city. Where city is kind of the center of where all the realms come together, but we didn't necessarily want it to be like a capital per se. We wanted to kind of contain that within individual realms and then have that be kind of the more neutral place. Come back to the mud farm in a second. So we don't really use sniffers for anything, but we have some sniffers here just to have them. You can see a tunnel down there following this path here. That just takes us to a cherry forest. Nothing's actually built there, but whenever we need cherry wood, we can go down there. This is our mud farm, so we can create the mud here and then have it dry out and turn into clay if we need it. And if we need the mud, we can collect it on the inside. So this was this our first attempt? Yeah, I think this was our first attempt, so it wasn't really working. This is our working attempt. So you still have to stand in here somewhere and like place the water on the... Oh, you have to place the dirt down, and then from there it's automatic. The blocks can't be placed, but once this starts moving, which at some point we're gonna have to refigure that out because we haven't actually used this in a while since we figured it out like 2 years ago. And then you see here, yeah, this is all part of... Get out and do that again. Not what we intended to do, but we survived. That would have been a terrible... Well, I guess we were up in the hills, so we would have been at least on this side of the ocean. Anyway. Yeah, the dirt comes through, it gets hit with water, the water bottle gets collected, it drops, goes through this process here, gets see if we can go okay. How do we get up there? Oh, maybe it's over here. I just show that off from what I remembered. Yeah. Something triggers this. That triggers a dispenser here. So the water gets refilled and then dropped in here. Goes back down. And so once we drop the water, the dispenser fills it, drops that back in, puts it back into another dispenser that will splash it on the dirt that we put in. And so once we're in the flow, you'll start seeing empty glass bottles flowing up here as they get refilled and then sent back down. So at some point we're going to have to spend a day figuring out how to get that going again. But I think that'll be okay. Yeah, and then we got the mud side over here, so this is holding it in place. So it's either too tall or something else is blocking it and keeping it from going, but these mud blocks, oh, that's right. So yeah, we would put the dirt or something here. That would get changed. Or we put it here and it would get changed and it would go through, then it would get pushed up and then out, and then we would have a big cube of the mud here that we could then use for our projects. Something like that. But you get the idea. And then we would have this system here of the redstone, I think, is meant to... an observer down there, isn't it? Oh, no. But it's... no, it's comparing something. I forgot why we had that then. I guess if this has something in it, then it keeps... Oh, maybe that was a way of doing some kind of switch. I have to go back and think about that so that we can stop this going, I guess, from the outside there. Anyway, that is what we have laid out of Barter's Bay so far. Well, most of it. I guess we do have one more place to show, and then we'll come on back up to the top and do our another. And yeah, again, we'll save the gold farm for once we have our path, and then we can just follow our path there and give a better feel for that. And if you can see the smoke here, if you're looking at it from the village, this then looks like mist. So that's the goal there. Probably could work in some cobwebs or something, but that's that. All of that is to not just have a waterfall, but to have... What is... I don't know where that one's going. But we'll come over here. So in here we will have... we have this little room in the back here for our little dripstone farm back there, kind of hidden back there. We have this room here. don't hear. Pausing for a second. Okay. Sorry about that. So I guess the sound isn't coming through. I don't hear it. But this would kind of ding as you're walking across this. Then we're going to put some named tropical fish in there so they stick around. And this is kind of the atrium area. We won't go all the way down, but down here is how we get to our farm there. And we forgot to show that earlier, but there is another geode under the caravan trail entrance. So on the Overmaro side of the ocean, there is a geode there as you're going under the ocean. So we'll do something with that. From that atrium area, we can also come into here. And we'll probably fill this up with purpur later too, so we need more purpur, and the center here is going to be the amethyst. But come down here. And this is kind of where our villager clerics are studying the zombies. And then we have, I think that goes down into a cave or something, but nothing really built there. So that's what all of this is. Some of these tunnels we need to explore again. Maybe we'll do that on other streams once we get a little bigger. And take more notes. I don't want to fall in there. Yeah, so when you're walking in, you'll see this large amethyst thing there going through. I don't think we have anything over here, right? Yeah, so we're gonna do something with that, but we hadn't decided yet. This comes close to the Adventurers Guild, I think. But anyway, this is the Clerics Guild. Right. We'll fly around. I think we hit everything up here. Do we have a... We have the... Well, there is a spot we can drop that off. And we're just going to walk around the perimeter, so maybe we will keep our armor on. But we do need to drop off our Elytra. So up there takes us to this spot in the back next to where we're going to have our stables. If we had taken the portal either in the temple or down in the mines under the garden temple, it would have taken us to this one. There is... we have an extra? Oh, good. We did put it in our short box. Okay, good. Right, so we... that... don't need that in here. This will protect our elytra. Okay. So this little area is just kind of our base of operations for the moment. We have nether wart here, and the glass, when you do this kind of three air blocks, and the glass, the ghast will spawn in there, so it's also our ghast catcher. And if they spawn close enough to the side, they also get hit by the cacti, and then we can collect the tears from them, which was not our original purpose, but it turned out to be a nice bonus. So all these chests here are mostly netherite, netherrack. Yeah, and then we turn some of that into another brick, but another rack. A few of them will have some other gold and stuff in them, but most of them are full of that. Not that we need it all, but if we want bricks and whatnot, why not have a lot? We said the same thing about dirt, and then we needed that. But we're not going to look at this one, but this actually goes down to our zombie piglin farm, which isn't done, so we're going to save that. Maybe we could actually... if we stay on this, I think we'll be okay. But you can see it there. This is the ring, and then we're filling in the stuff, so... so, yeah, we'll have... the zombie piglin will spawn there. Then we'll have something to, like, aggro them and whatnot, and then that will be good. We're going to show just this thing here, and then we'll end on the bank. We don't have much built here other than this and the bank. So this is going to be our wither skeleton farm, so it's all buttoned up and whatnot, and we have a few like spots for them to spawn. You can see a few zombies. Yeah, they go up there, they land, they either perish from the fall or they hit the snow there and then freeze, and then we collect, you know, the magma cubes and wither skeletons and whatnot. And the corner here, it's hard to see, but that's where the portal is that will go to the Inkwood library, so we'll cap that off so you can't see it too much. We'll put a door there so that it's accessible, but if you're following the story, you won't be able to see it. And then, yeah, so this is our wither skeleton farm. We have enough for a few withers, but we really need to get that ramped up so that we can have a steady supply of that. We're gonna make our way, and we're just gonna walk around the perimeter. So it's gonna take us, you know, 10-15 minutes to walk around the perimeter since it's so large. But that's our kind of goal here. To give a feel for the size. So we won't probably walk somewhere towards the middle of it. You can see it. Yeah, so we're going to have... what is that? Obsidian there. We're going to have obsidian portals. So we're going to have nether portals all the way around as protection. So we're laying down our first layer of obsidian, and then we'll build the verticals, and then we'll... I don't know if they'll all be uniform or if we'll make it more haphazard, but there'll be portals of either uniform size or varying size, but the walls will be covered in portals. So we'll have to be kind of careful that we don't use them and risk creating a bunch of portals in the overworld, but they're high enough up that the villagers that we're going to bring here won't be able to use them. I guess any creatures that use them would potentially spawn in the overworld, so there'd be that, but if that happens, we'll just have to figure out how to build something wherever that happens to kind of encase it. Maybe like a what is this called? The communication towers, but like the communication light towers like would have been used in like ancient times, like lighting a fire, like signal towers, something like that. Yeah, so oh, I guess we didn't see it, but 00 would have been the portal that takes us back to Overmorrow, so just behind us. So we're just gonna walk the most of the perimeter, and then we're gonna head back to our little base, and then we'll go to the bank and kind of show that off, and then we'll follow our stream there. So the white here is in the southern side, I think. Oh no, so this is the northern side. So this is, oh yeah, so this is the northern side. So on the 500 blocks, we're using like the quartz, purple, copper, and one of the deep slates, like polished deep slate, I think. So white is north, the black is south, I think. Increasing negativity, so I think the purple is west and the copper is east, something like that. Oh yeah, we won't show, there's not really much in there. There's a few like fighting rings and other fortresses and stuff like that around, but we didn't build them, so let's get to here and see what happens. Okay, there we go. That's another reason we want to clean out the roof here, so we can get the iron golems to flow around freely. We will treat the hoglins as kind of like citizens here too, so we'll have to kind of be careful of where they live. So we'll probably have to put up little like azalea bushes or something like that, something that can kind of keep them in an area. I'll keep the iron golems out, so that way we can have more of a harmony. And then put in more of these mushrooms here, so we can keep our hoglins and have like hoglin farms here, but use that to kind of keep them in the area. And we're debating on this, so whether we keep shroom lights as the bottom or maybe frog lights. Because if we use frog lights, we at least have 3, and if we combine frog lights with the shroom lights, then we can add a color theme here as well, along with the like, copper, purple, quartz like direction. The wall itself can be, you know, lighting under it that will help us identify the direction. This little structure to our left here is one of our attempts at a froglight farm. We might still go with that, but we also might just do it around here somewhere else and just do it at the surface and build up. We tried building down there, but there's a big lava pool underneath us, so it takes a lot of gravel to fill that in and get the foundation that we want there. Lots of running out of carrots. Okay. Almost to the back corner. Oh yeah, you can see we've got some scaffolding here so we can start working on laying down the top layer of the obsidian. So we're taking this up to another ceiling. And then we'll probably level off the ceiling, and debating on what to do with that. I thought about putting like skyish blocks up there, like blue, white, maybe gold for a sun or something like that, but don't know what we're gonna do with that yet. And if we do that, do we pretend it's real, or do we pretend it's like a hologram and everybody who lives here knows that it's like a hologram? And we've been crossing these smooth stones. Every 100 blocks is a smooth stone, so that's what we were mentioning, that it's a grid. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to... Probably should have taken down our left hand for the world tour. But we'll see how this goes. Oh yeah, so we're in the 900s now. Now we can start going back east. Yeah, we're heading east. Okay, and we put we started putting these around every so often, not in any regulars. Well, we tried putting these down at like the 50-50 line, so you see we're like 850, 950 roughly. So roughly in the center of these cells, we tried putting some of these down. So we can see, you know, get a feel for how much of this we have done. But the nether fog blocks a lot, so even if we had our nether distance or render distance the way we want it, like in the overworld, then nether fog would still mess up a lot here. Which I get wanting to add that effect, but I would add something like maybe not a beacon, but something in that kind of beacon ballpark that would allow fog to be pushed back, or like turn it down, because I think we were using like the Foxy No Tails add-on to remove nether fog, although I think we had to use something different the last time we did an update, which I guess we're gonna have to figure out in a couple weeks. Yeah, so here's our deep slate line for the north. Oh, and I guess we left some stone stuff up here to work on stuff up here. And here we go. That. Oh, that's 950 and 350. Okay. Yeah, so we come up here. And let's run away before that falls. Oh, and all of these little lava things here, we were trying to cap them because we want to use these, and we probably will at some point. But as we take down the netherrack, we'll have to either note where that is and rebuild it, or just be careful as we're going so we can preserve some of this. Because we're trying to kind of maintain that idea of using lava as a light source, particularly in the nether. I mean, we like it in the overworld too, but we're trying to lean into the environment a little more. So we'll hit the 100 block, we'll go down, and that will be the show here. So we're not gonna like spiral in and show everything. We're just gonna do the outside perimeter just to give a feel for how big Haven's End will be and how much work is left. We have a notebook, like a grid notebook, so engineering notebook, grid line notebook, whatever you want to call it. Trying to kind of track the progress. And so we're probably, you know, 80% or so of the way done. Yeah, so the salt flan here. Oh, so we can cover, when we block that up, that'll take a lot of this lava down. There's probably a couple lava sources in here too. But we can get most of that done. Whoops. Let's get out of here. Hopefully they didn't destroy that. Nope, good. And we probably won't go all the way down. We'll go down to like 500 on the Z. Because we saw a lot of what was already there when we went down close to 0, 0. Nothing substantial down there. And our base of operations is around the 500, 500. And then we'll go to the bank. And we'll call it there. Oh yeah. I remember we were cleaning out this area and we just had such a problem with skeletons. We brought in an army of dogs to help take care of them while we were clearing this area out. Yep. And here's the purpur. So yeah, we're heading west now. And you know, we're at Y67, so you know, if we round up to 70, and then the ceiling is what, 120, so that's 50 blocks. So 50 million blocks minus the gaps that are in the clearing. So like this area here obviously takes out a lot, so areas like this take out a few million. So we're estimating that we have around 20 million blocks or so to clear out. So that would be a little less than half. So between 20 and 30. So we've got another carrot here. And ooh, Inkwood. Oh yeah, we could take the portal to Inkwood, but I don't really have fate yet. But in here we have a bunch of Fletchers. Our head Fletcher is JB. But we can trade these sticks, so we go to the tree farm, you know, the forestry service that we saw earlier. Get a bunch of wood and then trade that for emeralds and experience here at our bank, because we have 15, 16 Fletchers here, and then there's a get in here. Oh yeah. There's a second story here, and then we'll carry this around. So we need to, another reason we need to clear out all that netherrack there. But this gets us a nice 2-story bank with a bunch of Fletchers. So whenever one loses their trade or is too expensive, we will have enough of them here that we can keep coming back and using this as an experience in Emerald Farm. And since emeralds are the currency that we're using in the world, it ties nicely into the story that way. So with that, I think we'll go over to our safe spot over here. And stay in here for a bit. I think we'll be fine now. But think we're going to call our stream there. That was over 2 hours, and we didn't go to the gold farm, so that probably would have been another 30 minutes to get there and do anything. Give or take. But at some point we will do a world tour there. And then we need to do Oasis City as well. We need to visit the library. So our full world tour is going to approach, ooh, I think 3 hours would be cutting it close. A full world tour is probably going to get close to 4 hours by the time we get all the places to a point where we can show them, like outlined, and show kind of the basic function. It will probably be an all-day event, meaning probably closer to 8 hours once the wall has more substance to it, the horizon wall, and once the garden temple is, once the exterior is done and we have builds on the inside, because we'll want to show off that kind of stuff as well. And with Haven's End here, we're going to kind of go out to some of the fortresses and whatnot for, I don't think we get Swift Sneak here, but some of the gold and stuff that's out here, we will look at that, but also just the development of the city of Haven's End. So the gardens, the tailors, the blacksmiths, all of that kind of stuff that's here. As those builds come in, we'll want to spend more time not just doing the perimeter, but doing the interior as well. So yeah, we're going to get somewhere between 4 and 8 hours for our world tour once we get closer to the end of the story that we're trying to tell. But with that, thank you, Genie and Anime World and Gracelyn and Kuzi, Kitten, and Justin, I think. Sorry if we missed anybody else, but thank you for all the follows and likes on TikTok and Twitch. We are trying to get to 300 followers on TikTok and making an affiliate on Twitch. So if you like this stream and kind of the story-driven builds, feel free to share. If you want to find out more what we're working on, you can check us out on Linktree. It's linktr.ee/mindtripmedia. That will have links to this VOD over on YouTube, along with our mostly Lego build YouTube channel. Our links to our Pinterest, Blue Sky, TikTok and Twitch are there as well. You'll find links to GitLab where you can download this world. We update it every 6 months, so come end of June, early July, we'll have another update for that. It usually takes us about a week to get that kind of prepped once we start, so sometime in July we'll release that. We have a few plans coming up then, but we'll get that out as soon as we can in July. And yeah, so with that, we're going to take this video, try to do some edits on it and make some little clips and stuff to try to get more engagement. And again, appreciate all the likes and follows, and we will see everybody tomorrow when the journey continues, and we'll be picking up where we left off and working on the ravine at Inkwood. So again, thank you everyone. We'll see you tomorrow for day 501 of the journey begins when we continue.